Lakers News Fan Report, your home for breaking Lakers news, exclusive analysis, and the insider intel that keeps you connected to every move our franchise makes. I'm here to bring you the latest updates, strategic breakdowns, and the stories that could define this Lakers era. Today, I need to talk to you about something that's been developing behind the scenes, something that connects our current success with a potential move that would fundamentally alter the NBA landscape and put the Lakers back into that rarefied air of true championship favorites. Stay with me because what I'm about to break down involves our recent surge, a superstar who wants out of his current situation, and conversations that have already happened that most fans don't know about yet. 17 wins and 6 losses. Second place in the Western Conference, 9 victories in our last 11 games. The Lakers are playing some of their best basketball in years, and it's not just about individual performances anymore. We're seeing a legitimate Big Three emerge with LeBron James doing what LeBron does, Luka Doncic proving why we made that blockbuster trade back in February, and Austin Reeves continuing his ascension into legitimate all-star territory. That 112-108 victory over Philadelphia last Sunday wasn't just another win. It was a statement that this Lakers team has figured out how to close games, how to defend when it matters, and how to get contributions from multiple sources. But here's the reality that every championship contending team faces at some point during the season. You can be good, you can be really good, you can even be great in stretches. But to win it all, to cut down those nets in June, you need to be historically great. You need that one move that separates you from everyone else, that one addition that makes other teams look at your roster and wonder how they're supposed to compete with that kind of firepower. The Lakers are one blockbuster transaction away from reaching that level, and the name that keeps coming up in conversations around the league is exactly the kind of game-changing talent that would make this team nearly impossible to defend. Let me take you back to what's been happening in Milwaukee, because understanding that situation is crucial to appreciating what might be possible for the Lakers. The Bucks are struggling, they're not meeting expectations, and there's growing tension around the direction of that franchise. Giannis Antetokounmpo is 30 years old. He's a 2-time MVP, he's an NBA champion, he's done everything you can do in this league, and he's watching his prime years slip away on a team that can't get over the hump. The competitiveness that drives elite athletes doesn't just disappear because you've already won a title, it intensifies. Winners want to keep winning, and when the infrastructure around them isn't supporting that goal, they start exploring alternatives. A few months ago, information started circulating among people connected to NBA teams that Giannis had reached a point where he was open to being traded. This wasn't a public demand. This wasn't drama played out on social media. This was quiet conversations between representatives and franchises about what it would take to make a deal happen. The Knicks emerged as his preferred destination initially, which makes sense given the market, the history, the stage that New York provides. But here's where it gets interesting for us as Lakers fans. New York wasn't willing to meet Milwaukee's asking price. They offered Karl-Anthony Towns, which is a quality player, but not nearly enough for someone of Giannis's caliber. The Bucks rightfully said no, and that's when other teams started seriously evaluating what they could put together. And this is the part that should have every Lakers fan paying close attention because, according to credible media reports, the Lakers inquired about Antetokounmpo. Not just the organization making a courtesy call, but Luka Doncic himself reaching out to see if a deal could be worked out with Milwaukee. Think about that for a second. Our newest superstar, the guy we traded for back in February, is already recruiting at the highest level. Luka understands what it takes to win championships. He's been to the finals. He knows you need multiple elite players who can dominate in different ways. And he's identified Giannis as someone who would fit perfectly with what we're building here in Los Angeles. That's not just player empowerment. That's championship-level thinking. From someone who came here specifically to win titles, The pieces are aligning in ways that seemed impossible just months ago. Giannis wants to win, and he's not satisfied with Milwaukee's trajectory. The Lakers have already expressed interest in making a trade happen. Luka is personally invested in bringing another superstar to LA. And most importantly, we have the asset that Milwaukee would actually want in return. Austin Reaves has developed into exactly the type of player that could headline a deal for someone like Antetokounmpo. He's 26 years old. He's on a team-friendly contract. He can score at all three levels. He's improved defensively, and he's got the kind of competitive mentality that winning organizations covet. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Austin Reaves has been incredible for us. He's become a fan favorite. He's part of our core. How can we even consider trading him? And I get that emotional attachment. I really do. But we have to think about this pragmatically. We have to analyze it the way championship organizations analyze these decisions. Reaves is on his way to being an all-star. He might get there in the next year or two. Giannis Antetokounmpo is already a two-time MVP, already a champion, already one of the 15 best players to ever play this game. The gap in value isn't close, and if Milwaukee would accept a package centered around Reaves, you explore that option seriously. Let me paint you a picture of what this Lakers roster would look like with Giannis instead of Reaves. You'd have LeBron James still playing at an elite level in his age 39 season, still capable of dominating games in crucial moments. You'd have Luka Doncic, one of the 5 best players in the NBA right now, an offensive maestro who makes everyone around him better. And you'd have Giannis Antetokounmpo, a physical specimen unlike anything we've seen in league history, someone who can guard all 5 positions, who can score from anywhere on the floor, who changes everything about how teams have to defend you. That's not just a big 3. That's 3 legitimate MVP caliber players in their primes or close to it. That's the kind of roster that doesn't just compete for championships. That's the kind of roster that wins multiple championships if you keep them healthy and together. The offensive versatility alone would be unprecedented in modern NBA history. How do you game plan for a team that can run offense through 3 different players who can all score 30 on any given night? How do you defend that in crunch time when any of those 3 can take over? The defensive transformation would be equally significant. Giannis changes everything on that end of the floor. He can switch onto guards. He can protect the rim. He can guard power forwards. He makes rotations easier for everyone else because he covers so much ground. Pair that with the improvements we've seen from Luka defensively this season, add in the veteran savvy of LeBron, surround them with the role players we've already assembled, and suddenly you're looking at a top 5 defense to go along with what would clearly be the league's best offense. The Lakers have demonstrated this season that they're willing to make aggressive moves to support Luka and build around him properly. We signed Marcus Smart in free agency specifically to give Luka a defensive-minded guard who can take pressure off him on that end. We brought in DeAndre Ayton to give us that rim protection and rebounding presence we've been missing. Both of those moves signal that the organization is in win-now mode, that we're not interested in slow building or waiting for young players to develop. We want championships, we want them soon, and we're constructing the roster accordingly. Would the Lakers be willing to continue that aggressive approach even if it meant trading Reaves, a player who represents our future in many ways? Based on everything we've seen this season, based on the pattern of behavior from our decision-makers, I believe the answer is yes. Not because they don't value Reaves or appreciate what he brings, but because Giannis Antetokounmpo is a once-in-a-generation talent who's already proven he can be the best player on a championship team. You don't pass on that opportunity when it presents itself, especially not when you have LeBron James still playing at an elite level and a window that's very much open right now. The financial logistics make this feasible too, which is important to consider. Giannis is under contract through the 2027 season with a player option for 2028. That gives you multiple years of championship contention with this core not just a rental situation where you're gambling everything on one season. Reeves is on a very manageable deal that makes him attractive to Milwaukee as they potentially rebuild or retool around younger talent. The money works, the timelines work, the basketball fit works on both ends. Milwaukee would be getting a foundational piece to build around in Reeves, someone who can be their primary scoring option for the next decade if they develop him properly. They'd likely ask for additional draft compensation and maybe another young player or two, but the Lakers have shown they're willing to part with future assets when the return is worth it. We did it for Luka, and that's worked out phenomenally well. We'd absolutely do it for Giannis if it meant creating a legitimate dynasty in Los Angeles. The timing of all this is crucial to understand. We're not talking about off-season speculation or draft night possibilities. We're in the middle of a season where the Lakers are playing well, where Milwaukee is struggling, where Giannis is reportedly frustrated, and where both Luka and the Lakers organization have already inquired about making something happen. That's not hypothetical, that's active pursuit of a franchise-altering transaction. The groundwork has been laid, the interest has been established, and now it's a matter of whether both sides can agree on the specifics. From Milwaukee's perspective, they have to ask themselves if they can realistically contend with the current roster around Giannis. The early season results suggest they can't, and if they can't, then holding on to him while he gets older doesn't serve anyone's interests. They'd be better off getting maximum value for him now while he's still in his prime, getting assets they can build around for the next era of Bucks basketball. That's not giving up, that's smart franchise management when you recognize that a particular configuration isn't working. For Giannis, the opportunity to play in Los Angeles with LeBron and Luka would be incredibly appealing. He'd immediately become part of the title favorite. He'd be playing in one of the league's premier markets. He'd have the supporting cast that takes pressure off him to do everything every night. He could focus on what he does best, dominating in the paint, protecting the rim, pushing the pace in transition, without having to carry the entire offensive load the way he has in Milwaukee. That's the kind of situation that extends careers and leads to multiple championships. I want to be clear with all of you watching this. I'm not saying this trade is definitely happening. I'm not reporting that it's a done deal, or even close to being finalized. What I'm telling you is that all the ingredients are present for this to become a reality. The Lakers have inquired. Luka has personally reached out. Giannis wants to win. Milwaukee is struggling. And we have the assets to make a competitive offer. Those are facts. Those are pieces of information we can verify, and they paint a picture of a potential transaction that would reshape the NBA landscape. The question for us as Lakers fans is whether we're ready to make that kind of move. Are we prepared to trade a player we've grown to love in Austin Reeves for the chance to create a super team unlike anything we've seen in years? Are we willing to bet on the upside of Giannis, LeBron, and Luka together rather than continuing to develop the core we have now? Those are legitimate questions with arguments on both sides. But championship windows don't stay open forever. And when you have a chance to add a player like Giannis Antetokounmpo, history suggests you take that shot. Before we wrap this up, I want to hear from you because this discussion isn't complete without the perspective of Lakers Nation. Would you trade Austin Reeves and additional assets for Giannis Antetokounmpo? Do you think that Big Three of Giannis, Luka, and LeBron could win multiple championships together? What concerns do you have about making such a massive mid-season move? Drop your thoughts in the comments below because I'm reading every single one and this conversation is too important to not include all of our voices. Make sure you're subscribed to Lakers News Fan Report and you've hit that notification bell so you never miss a breaking update as this story develops over the coming weeks. Like this video if you appreciate the in-depth analysis and insider perspective that goes beyond surface-level reporting. Share it with fellow Lakers fans who need to understand what's actually happening behind the scenes and keep engaging in the comments. Because that's what makes this community special. We're building the most informed Lakers fan base on YouTube, and your participation is what drives everything we do here. Let's go Lakers, and I'll see you in the next one.